Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Today I want to talk a little bit about Laberrick's arrest recently. I also want to talk about Destiny petitioning the court for a protective order. I do also want to talk about what Sunny had to say. I personally feel like a lot of you guys may not like what I have to say, but I feel like it has to be said anyway. So I'm a stand in the truth of how I feel about it, and we're going to get into it. If you're new to this channel, you're welcome to this channel. Please hit that subscribe button for reviews and recaps of reality TV shows, celebrity news. Smash that subscribe button and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post or go live. And everyone, please like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know what you guys think. Now let's get into it. So a couple of days ago, Laberrick was arrested and a mugshot has been in circulation. It shows him being arrested for harassing communications, domestic violence, something along those lines, harassment, I believe it is. And there has been like a lot of speculation as to whether or not it is Destiny who filed against him. I personally, from the start, had felt like it was Destiny, in my opinion. But I feel like now the fact that Destiny is petitioning and asking the court for a separate order goes to show that she was probably the one who initiated the first case that led to his arrest. Now, I personally feel like this. You may not like Destiny, but when it comes to anyone, any woman, anybody experiencing domestic violence in any form, it should never be acceptable, regardless of who this person is. It's as bad as us saying, oh, she was begging for it. That's victim blaming. That is horrible. I do appreciate that Destiny has done some vile things, including continuing to align herself with Martell Holt, despite all of the things that he has done to Melody. However, I still feel like what is wrong is wrong. We may not like the victim in this case, but what is wrong is wrong. Now, I do know there are some people who think she may not be telling the truth, and that may well be correct. But if she is telling the truth, I feel like she also should be supported and protected despite who she is and what she has done. Of course, I'm not trying to be here and say Destiny is a saint. She never has been. She has been vile in a lot of things that she has done. So I'm not taking up for her. But however, if she was in a domestic violence situation, then she should also receive support. I think she should be able to apply to the courts to get a protection if it is legitimate. Now, I will say it's okay to feel like, okay, I'm not really sure about whether she's telling the truth. Even as I record this, I don't entirely know because I was not there, right? However, if she is telling the truth, are people going to feel like she doesn't deserve support because of some of the vile things that she has done and continues to do? Are people going to blame Destiny and say she pushed him? She was the reason why he got aggressive. I think everyone is entitled to how they feel about Destiny. But when there are certain things being said, especially about the minor son, that is very concerning to me. So I'm going to go into it really quickly. And then I'm going to go into what Sunny had to say. I'm actually very disappointed in Sunny, but we'll get back to that. So we're going to talk about the petition that she filed really quickly. And shout out to Empress Radio because that's where I got this information from. So she is alleging that there is an immediate and ongoing rise to the need for court urgent intervention. Apparently, there has been a documented history of DV involving Laberrick. That is crazy. Imagine that is true. So a history of DV? That is horrible. So the first thing that was mentioned was a history of significant injuries sustained by law in Laberrick's care. There was reference to a life-threatening injury classified as a near-miss SIDS, where the diagnosis seems consistent with shaking baby syndrome. So I'd never heard of a shaking baby syndrome. So I did a quick Google search and I'm reading from a place called mayoclinic.org. And I'm reading, it says, shaken baby syndrome is a serious brain injury resulting from forcefully shaking an infant or a toddler. It is also known as an abusive head trauma, shaking impact syndrome, inflicted head injury, or whiplash shaken infant syndrome. Wow. Shaken baby syndrome destroys a child's brain cells and prevents his or her brain from getting enough oxygen. That is horrible. So I scrolled down to check causes because I'm just trying to figure out like what could cause that. So I'm just going to read that really quickly. Babies have weak neck muscles. Yes, I know this from carrying a baby. My goodness, very fragile. But anyway, and can't support the weight of their heads. If a baby is forcefully shaken, their fragile brain moves back and forth inside the skull. Oh, that is grim. This causes bruising, swelling, and bleeding. Shaken baby syndrome usually occurs when a parent or caregiver severely shakes a baby or toddler due to frustration or anger, often because the baby won't stop crying. Oh, that is so horrible. So I'm reading the last line here. Shaken baby syndrome isn't usually caused by bouncing a child on your knee or minor falls. Okay, now that is something I really wanted to know because I'm like, okay, does it mean that, okay, you're just like out here playing with your baby, you shake that baby a little too much and then the neck muscles give way? But no, it sounds like something that is a lot more intentional from you actually physically really violently shaking the baby. Now, from just a quick research, well, to be honest, I'm looking at Wikipedia. Well, Wikipedia is not reliable, so I'm going to scroll to a thing that says top stories. And then it comes up, this story was from a case in January 23rd. Oh, that was posted on January 23rd, 2025, so today. And it says why Texas lawmakers try to stop America's first shaking baby syndrome execution. Wow. Okay. This is a bit of a long one, but I don't know if you guys are really interested in it. So what I'm going to do is just give like a really, really quick, there's something that I saw there that I really want to talk about really quickly. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, at least 34 parents and caregivers in 18 states convicted on AHT, which is another name, is called abusive head trauma, which is basically shaking baby syndrome, have been exonerated. That is very interesting. So it might feel like there isn't enough sort of research to solidify the whole shaking baby syndrome thing. But I have to read more into that because that was the article that came up today. Even though I didn't really fully read it, but that is something that, especially well in the court of law, the thing about courts also is like when it comes to like anything criminal, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So it could be that because that is a high bar to get to, it may be that's why people are getting exonerated on that. But nonetheless, I think we know a little bit about shaking baby syndrome now. Apparently, there's been 3 different changes to what happened from Laberrick's account. Due to that, apparently Destiny's son has experienced developmental delays, speech delays, which are all in line with shaking baby syndrome. At 2 years old, her son sustained physical injuries, including hematoma and edema while in Laberrick's care. Laberrick did not take Law in for medical care. That is wild. If that is true, that is very... Like if your child, if something happens, you need to take that straight to the doctor. Okay, so 2 months old. So the first thing with the shaking baby syndrome happened at 2 months old. Second thing happened at 2 years old. I guess my question is, were these things flagged at the time? Were these things reported at the time? And I know people don't usually report stuff. Victims do not always report stuff. But I just think, like, when it comes to your child and something like a life-threatening injury like that, like, I just find it hard to understand why that was not reported. But nonetheless, that's not to say that it did not happen. Apparently, there was also another incident where Laberrick threw her son's medication on the ground, became verbally abusive in the presence of her son. Police were called, and then the officer instructed him to leave the building. Wow, that is wild. So there must have been a report was filed documenting the event. I'm not surprised. Apparently, Laberrick also sent harassing messages unrelated to co-parenting and where he was verbally abusive towards Destiny. Apparently, the son has also witnessed violent behavior from Laberrick, and Laberrick's current girlfriend has also disclosed physical abuse by him and an ongoing pattern of DV towards his partner. Wow. Strangulation during her pregnancy. Ooh, oh my goodness. If these things are true, then he's a monster and he needs to be locked up. She says that she has some photographic evidence of bruises and strangulations. Ooh, some of which happened in front of her son. So here's where I feel like Sunni should have stayed out of it. Sunni, you don't know, as much as you may think Destiny told you some things, you may know some things. I don't think you know the ins and outs of what happens in anyone's marriage or happened in anyone's marriage. So I didn't really like that. Now, there's one thing I will say that I do agree with her. For some reason, I feel like her and Laberrick were not nice to each other. I've always felt that way. I don't know why. I've always just felt that way. However, I don't like where she starts going on about Destiny provoking a man and liking to talk down to a man and provoking him. At the end of the day, it's his choice. It's his decision as to whether or not he chooses to take it physical. Nobody should be able to provoke you to use your hands to strike someone else. And I didn't really like what she said about it. Doesn't seem like she would be a girl that would lay back and take it and not fight back. And she feels like it's not her character to get her ass whooped and all that kind of stuff, that she is very aggressive, all that kind of stuff. Here's the thing. I do agree that Destiny comes across as aggressive with women. She's always come across as that. Even in certain discussions that she's had with I would say, Martel in the past, she does come across as aggressive. However, I do feel like sometimes even these women that may come across as aggressive towards other women are not or may not necessarily have that same level of aggression in a relationship, especially when they are being abused by their partners. For majority of those women, they don't fight back. Now, I don't know what happened in their household. I cannot say that Destiny is one way or the other, but I really believe that if we don't know what it is, we can talk about, okay, if it's the truth and, all of that kind of stuff. But I don't think saying things that makes it seem like she was asking for it or she was not a victim is appropriate in this situation. I think there has to be a line, even when we're providing our commentary and we're speaking on these sorts of things and sensitive issues like this, to make sure that we're being very careful. If I was being honest, I didn't even want to cover the story today, but I thought about it and I said, this could be an opportunity to provide just the facts and talk about if it's true, what is your stance? For me, I do not stand for violence in any way. No matter who it is, no matter who is on the receiving end. The only reason I come out to speak on this is because I've heard and seen a lot of people talk about, well, you see how Destiny is, I don't care. She's getting smacked, all that kind of stuff. I don't believe that is right. I don't think that is fair. yes, she's done vile things and continues to do vile things, but I feel like two things can be true. Like, she is wrong, she is vile for some of the things that she has done, and she may be a victim in this situation. Just because you're vile everywhere else does not mean that you may not be a victim in another person's situation or in another situation. So that is all I want to talk to you guys about, but I am curious to know what you guys think. So let me know in the chat what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the chat. Thank you. Bye.